Good day, everyone. I'm Dave. We're going to continue on with the Sambro Lighthouse build today. I've got the base here. I think it's a little thick. We'll have a look at that in a little bit. And here's the main column. So it's all dried up. It's been a week, by the way, since we last spoke. So we're just going to continue on here. So today's plan is to get all the clamps off, get all the straps off, do the initial sanding with probably 80 grit, just to get all the excess glue off and get it down to where we actually need it. Quickly build the top plate for it, get that all level, and then we're going to get little gussets on the side here, little side pieces, and then we're going to start on the light, the actual building of the little house the light goes in, and then if we still have time left over, we'll go ahead and do the little building that sits off the side. I'm going to do a little bit more research and find out where all the windows go. They're little tiny windows, they're not lit, so I don't have to worry about putting anything inside the lighthouse like I have to some of the other ones. I'm trying to find a video right now of the kaleidoscope lighthouse I have in the basement. If not, I'll just make another one. It's pretty neat. It's got multiple lights on it, flashes, and it looks pretty cool. And so there we go. That's today's project. So please, thanks for watching, and please follow along. Okay, we're going to start with the base. You're going to hear a little bit of noise now and then. I've got a in-garage heater, forced air heater here, so you're going to hear that now and then. So hopefully it's not too loud. I'll see. The microphone hopefully is directed right at me. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off. There it goes. I might speed this up a little bit so it doesn't take up too much time. So I'm just going to take the straps off and see what we have. Take all the clamps off. Here we go. The base done. I've got a decent overlap on the sides here, so I can take that down with the sander, make it all perfectly flush. That might be a little tall. We'll see. We might end up taking off an inch or so. Let's get to the column. And the column. Actually watching these things actually is a woodworker and has ideas or suggestions for me. I'm always willing to learn. I call myself a decent hack at woodworking. As you saw in that previous video, last week's video, I showed you some of the items I built. There's another one I'm going to show you a little later on. I built a tower, a submarine conning tower for my brother-in-law's dugout in Saskatchewan. So in the middle of Saskatchewan, floating around in this dugout is a sail for a submarine. It's got a light on it. The periscope lights up at night. It's all solar powered. I've got it here now. It's time to be refurbished. We take it out of the water every September long weekend. We put it in every May long. So we've been in the water for 3 years now, I think. So it's really starting to show some wear. So I've got it here, and sometime through the winter, it's January now, we'll get that in here, we'll take it apart, we'll reskin it and get it going. I'd like to put some dive planes on it and get some lights on the ends. But anyways, there's the column. see it's pretty good. It's a little dented here and there. That's fine. We can fix that up. Use a little bit of wood filler here and there. It's going to be painted. It's going to be painted solid white with white Prussian red bands on it, and the base is red. Base is red, sorry, and the lighthouse itself is red. So I'm going to go ahead and set up for an 80 grit sandpaper-ing, and I'll get right back to you. All right, sorry about the heater noise. So here we go. The base, I get 80 grit sandpaper in the orbital sander. I don't know if you can see that, but I've got lines marked in here. You're not always going to get an 8-sided, 8-sided perfect. The angle is perfect, at least I can't. I can make it look good. But so I drew these lines here to make sure I can match up. So I don't want to take those off. I'll sand them down just a little bit. All you're going to see anyway is the edge, the perimeter. What I'm really concerned about is just getting the glue off here and getting it all level until I can do the final sanding. So here we go. I'll probably speed this part up so I won't do any more talking. Got my respirator, got my hearing protection. One thing that really makes me a little perturbed is that we can't put music on Facebook. I love working in the shop with the radio going in the background. Can't really do that. That'll shut you down. I've had one scuba diving video blocked because I had some music playing in the background or over top of everything. But it's funny, I had 2 videos for scuba diving in Belize and Honduras, and they blocked one with music, but I almost had the same music on the other one, and that one's fine. Who knows? Anyway, here we go. There we go. Base is got the initial sanding of it done. There's a couple little voids and a couple little screw holes where I had to hold it down with this off. Just get a little bit of filler and fill that in. But like I said, it's going to be painted with high-grade exterior paint. It'll be primed first. I've made a few of these, and I made a very large one for a gentleman in central Alberta. It is the Port Alconey Lighthouse. It's a replica. It's 6.5, almost 7 feet tall. I'll show you that. So we built that one for him. He was very happy with it. We had to build almost to look like a coffin to fit it in his truck to get it home. But anyway, base is, the initial sanding is done. I'll just put a little bit of filler in there. And what that's after, then we'll start on the column here. We'll get that all sanded up. All right, on the column, there's a lot of good squeeze out, so I've got good glue coverage. We'll take all this down. We'll see what we got at the end. I won't bore you with the entire sanding thing. It's going to take me a little while. I'll show you a little bit, and then I'll turn it off, and we'll jump ahead in time. Here we go. Still sanding, and sanding, and sanding, and sanding. Next time, I'm going to take the time to wipe the glue off. There's a lot of glue that's squeezed out. Still sanding. Well, there we go. A lot of sanding done. There's a couple little things to fix up in here, a couple little voids. There's some screw holes from when, you remember when from the last video when I tapered everything, I had to screw it down. Those to be filled. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then we'll carry on. I think the next thing we'll do after that is we'll build the small little gussets, the angle that goes up to support the main plate for the light. So there we go, sanding done. Only took me 62 days to do it. I'll wipe the glue off from now on. There we go. More. Now, if you can see on the mistake one, of course, this is at a 45-degree angle. These have to be cut at a 22-degree angle to get that peak right. Sorry for the shake. So yeah, I messed this up a bunch of times. But this one looks good, so I don't see why I can't do the same on the other one. Let's set that up. So what I've got here is 1.5 by 1.5. We'll cut that right down corner to corner with the 45s, and that's what we're going to make our gussets out of. So we'll get that 45-degree angle done first, and then we'll cut them for the 22. I'll set up the miter saw here in a second, and we'll continue. Now, the last time I did that on the 6-sided one, I had a difficult time because what I did, I cut that to the 45. It's got to be from this peak here to there, so bifurcate across there, and then you have to try and get the 22.5 degree angle right, so it looks like that, and so it sits on there. So I think what I'm going to do is make these one at a time so they each fit individually, and then I'll cut them to the 45. I'll set everything up in the saw, and I think it'll work out a little better that way. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll set up, I'll get a bunch of clamps ready, and we'll start that. So here we go. It's hard for you to see. I've got the first one in the back here. I'm just going to work my way around and twist it as I go. Sure would nice to have a dedicated shop. So anyway, here we go. This is how I do it. Sorry for the noise. I'll probably speed this up anyway, so you just hear squiggling and turn the volume down. Just a touch bit. Sorry about my back there. Well, there we go. We got that all cut up. Not too bad for gaps. It's going to be painted and sealed anyway. So what I'll do is, they're all cut individually, like I told you before. I'm good. I'm not great. So all these angles aren't exactly 22.5. As I spin it, I can see it's got a little bit of it's off to one side, just a hair, but I can correct that. So what I do is I go around and I number each piece to each side, and we'll cut them at the correct 45, and we'll put them back on, we'll glue them, we'll nail them in spot, and we'll let that sit, and then we'll continue on with making the plate for the top, and then we'll start with the light. So here we go. position the camera and at the table saw, then we'll go on. So as we go through this, as it gets cut, I got to make sure the good sides, focus there, good side's the top side, because I'll be taking too much off of this one, and the bottom side here will be too small. So let's run a test piece and see what happens. Alright, test piece came out not too bad. That's the bottom piece, the scrap piece. It's too small. That's the top one there. So with the 22 degree angle, you can see that. That cut is actually backwards. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But we'll take those off one at a time and we'll push them through. So like I said, I've got them all numbered. We'll take them off one at a time and we'll push them through. Make sure I got my angles correct. There I am. And that's how that's done. The way I did it before was completely inside out and backwards. It took me ever. I kept messing up the angles. That was simple as pie. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get out the brad nailer and glue them in place and continue on. I changed my mind. So what I'm going to do is on the back side here, I'm just going to use my my table mounted belt sander. Just clean this up just a little bit. Make sure the back is straight so I get good glue adhesion, and then the brads will hold it, and then I'll clamp it and all that. So let me get my dust protection on and my ear protection, and we'll be away. So there we go, there's the top. Put the plate on. And as you can see, there's a couple little gaps, no big deal. So just line it up with that. Like that. And over here as far as we can. Yeah, it's not bad, it's square. My pencil, where I'm going to put it. There we go. Oops. There we go. See that? Probably not, but anyway, there we are. So I'll get that cut out, and I'm going to cut that freehand. So after I've messed with the blade, pardon me, and had it over on 45, I always like to make sure it's square to the table again. Square to this, but not that. I'll have to adjust that a little later on. So I'm just going to cut this piece down now. You can maybe see the design on there. I'm going to cut that down, we'll mark it up, and we'll get it ready to put on, but not quite yet. I've still got to fill in little holes in there, sand off that top to make it perfectly level, and a couple more things. So we'll get this cut down to size. I use my fence for the first two cuts, and after that I freehand it. good. That's great for now. I can finish everything up in sanding. Do a lot of that freehand stuff. You have to be very, very careful on kickbacks. That's why I sort of stand half out of the way a little bit. I've never had one really kick back at me. I've had more stuff jam up in the chop saw than the table saw. Good sharp blade. Go slow, know what you're doing. So there we go. All right, so we're on to now. It looks like we're on to the light. Try to get a good size on that and make sure it's all symmetrical and it's to scale. I'll try and input a picture of the actual lighthouse in Nova Scotia, and you can see the relationship between the tower, the gusset, and the light. And around the light, of course, there are railings that we'll have to make somehow too. And I have to have this all done by March. Usually the light is the most difficult because it's much thinner wood. It's 1/4 inch wood, so you have to. It's a little bit more bendable, and you've got to put some more supports in it. And then I've got to try and find a light. I'm trying to find a rotating beacon right now. I don't want to spend a ton of money on it. It might just be a light bulb, a stylized light bulb on a flashing unit that slowly goes on and off. I bought a couple of little lights on Amazon, but they're too small. I can't use them. I think I showed you that in the last video. So onwards and upwards. So here's our 4x8 sheet of plywood that we're going to cut in half right now. This will be our actual light. I'm going to build a large octagon, all one secured at the bottom and the top, and glue it all up, make it all nice. Then I'll be able to cut it in half, or in quarters anyway, or something. So then everything matches. If the angle, the 22.5 angles aren't perfect, at least it'll match up, and it's very, very hard to see from the eye. So I got this in the. I got my 4-foot level across here as a guide. This saw is quiet enough, it doesn't really throw enough dust, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut this right now. I've got it marked right at the 48, and I'll cut it right at the 48. There's an 1.5 inch offset for the blade guard there, and that should cut it right along the line perfectly. Let's see what happens. Just like that, there we go. Cut in half, a little bit more manageable. I'll be able to cut her down now for the correct size. This is my Craig bit, my Craig jig, and then we'll cut her down to what size I want. Then we'll run back over to the table saw, set that up at 22.5, run everything through, glue it, strap it, and put a top and bottom on it, so it's like a drum. All right, building the actual light. How tall? Lucky number 13, I think, looks good. Looking at the picture here, I'll show you a picture. The Sambro, whoa, hey, steady. The Sambro Lighthouse, that's it there. That's the top of it anyway. So that you can see the size of the people there. Sorry for the shaking. There's a fat bit on the bottom, a whole bunch of glass, a little bit of top. So hard to really see there, but let's do it phone. But from there to there, it looks about the same width as a platform. So the platform, if I go line to line, is about 14 3/4. Yeah, about 14 3/4. Okay, 14 3/4. About that high. Yeah, that might work. 14 3/4. We'll do that. Going back to the picture here. Oh shoot, I lost it. Going back to the picture here, it looks like the bottom. You cut this up into quarters. It looks like the bottom quarter is solid material, so it'll be wood. The two middle quarters are glass, There's an upper and a lower section of glass with a rotating beacon inside that, and then the top corner encompasses the ridge and then the peaked roof with a little vent on it. With a vent on the top. Oh, shoot, come on back. With a vent on it. So that's what we'll do. We'll make it, we'll divide up 14 4 times, and we'll go from there. That's what we'll do now. That's what we'll do now. Pronunciation. Alright, I got the height. We'll go 14 inches. Now, how wide? By looking at the lighthouse, there's a fair amount of space around it, like a walkway. So, I think if I go 2 inches in all the way around, we'll see what that sort of octagon looks like. This one here might be a bit big. Might be. It looks like to be a looks to be a little taller than skinny. Does that make any sense? No. Looks a little tall and skinnier. So yeah. Look at the walkway there. Oh, there we go. You see the walkway there. Hopefully that focuses. I don't even know what it is. Might not be. So these panels, I made these ones at 4.5. If I make the next panel at 4, that should be just about right, I think, because that's going to look, oh, that's going to be too bulky. Yeah, I'll try it at 4. I got lots and lots of wood. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. I can use it on another lighthouse. I build lighthouses all the time. I got 2 little ones over there. I'm going to make up for desktop stuff. Let's set this. Let's set the table saw all up, and we'll keep going. So what I've decided to do is not 14. It'll be 12 inches. I just sort of sussed it out there a little bit. Looks a little better. The 3.5 inch bottom for the 14 look a little high for this, so I'm going to go 3 inches. The 2 center panels will be 3 inches each, so yeah, 6. And then the top will be 3 inches with a most likely 1.5 inch tall straight up and down vertical strip, and then the roof will come off of that. Put a flat piece on top, and then we'll put in the pie sections for the curved roof, and then we'll put that little vent on, and anything else that has to be done. So I'm going to go get the plywood there. I've got the table saw set up for 10. In this case, a little extra is better. So we'll cut everything up to 10 to start with for the top and the bottom, up to fill in the middle later on and find some supports for that. Things are going along great right now, so here we go. We'll keep going and see how far we can get today. One of these times I'm going to build a lighthouse and just stain it. There's some of the patterns, the grain patterns in this plywood is really, really nice. 1/4 inch plywood, sanded both sides. It'll make the lighthouse look really, really nice. Look like the older cord or the larger cord wood for the column. It'll make it, once it's all done, it'll make it look weathered, so it's been there for a long time. And the light with the sanded plywood will actually look like it's been recently painted and upgraded and taken care of. So let's go ahead and cut this down to 10 inches. I'll make a couple 3 strips because there's no sense in making one when you can make 2 or 3. You never know, if you mess one up, you can keep going, or you can use it for another project. There we go, that was quick. Rejig the saw for the 22.5, and then we'll get those cut, and then those 10 inches pieces cut, correction, beveled, and then we'll go over and we'll cut them all off with the chop saw. So stay tuned. So what we're done here, I've cut them down to about just over 4 inches. We'll just see. I can always make them a little shorter. The contrast is going to suck on this, but I'm just going to quickly take these together, and then we're going to make a quick little octagon. Put it on top of the column, and we'll see how that looks for size. Of course, these are only 10 inches, because that's all I really need. Actually, all I really needed was 9 inches. Frog tape, frog tape. Nice and good. Over. I should have really taped how I did the column. It was a pain in the butt to get that all 8 sides of that being tapered and all. But here we go. Okay, let's just roll this up, and it should come together like that. And I'll tape that up, but that's way too big. I'm gonna have to go down by a fair amount. Just a sec here, I'll get the camera redone. There we are. So I think that's going to be way too fast. Oh boy, yeah. So I go ahead and cut them down a little bit. Cut those down a little more and make that a little skinnier. I think if I take 1/2 inch off, I think that'll be good. We'll start with 1/2 inch and go from there. So I had to put some straps on it. It started to bow a little bit, so I just strapped it up there. It's not very tight, but it's enough to keep all the joints together anyway. Thinking? Yeah, it looks decent, looks good. Just let that sit there for another 10 minutes or so, and then flip it over, draw out the top, cut out the top, attach it. Ding! 10 minutes, clamps off. I don't know if it was 10 minutes. I went in and got a piece of cheese and a couple Coke Zeros. Just about now is when all my clamps are falling on the ground, make a big noise. Alrighty, so just drawn up, just cut it. Witness that this time. I glue out of the way. I'm going to cut the glue. You're like watching those guys on YouTube that do this all the time and actually make money on YouTube at it. And they're all really, really good, and they all have really, really clean shops. And not a garage like mine. Like Jimmy DeResta, just kills me. Just watching him work just blows me away. He's so talented, he does so many different things. Alright, let's cut up. Hold on. Try and yap, but I can't even remember silly dimensions. Alright, everything was fine. Alright, let's get this glued up. So I stand out of the way and I was touching on top, and if it wants to slide out of the way, let her go. Hey, my heater's finally off. Now the first video I did, it was minus 28 out. It's only, well, when I checked this morning, it was only minus 21. And later on this week here in central northern Alberta, it's supposed to be, well, some stations are bragging on above zero, but I don't know about that. We'll see. Oop, put that in there. That looks silly. There we go. Let her back up. Okay, done. Oh, I hate doing this without music. So used to doing this for a few years now. Maybe you saw my first video of the stuff I do, the signs I build, and everything lights up. A lot of it's solar. I did it all with music going in the background. I do the odd update on Facebook for friends. And I just turned the music off, but boy, we're just working like this with no music. I know it shouldn't be a hindrance. I just like it. Little gap right there, not terribly happy about. I'm going to put some more clamps on this. And then I think that's it for today. Unless I want to run the sander around the column one more time, but I don't think I do. I think we'll leave that. I think we'll let that set up for the week. Of course, I do have a regular job at a trucking company here in Edmonton. I perform the pre-hire road tests, and I take care of the yard and the shunt drivers. A few other things. And then I've got 2 road tests tomorrow back to back. It's going to be a busy day, and I got another road test on Wednesday I got to do. So I don't get, a lot of times in the winter, in the colder months, I don't get to do this as much as I want. During the summer when it's light out for much, but it doesn't get dark. I don't know, if you're not familiar with the northern Alberta sunshine, we get the most amount of sun. Of course, like everybody does, I guess in June is the longest daylight period. June 21st, I think it is. We just went through the last, the shortest daylight period in December. It's starting to get longer now, but it's much more conducive to actually working after work during the week, because it doesn't get dark. You know, the longest daylight period, it doesn't get dark till like 10:30 or so. So you can stay out here and forget what time of day it is. Neighbors come over and see what the heck I'm doing. Like when I built that big Sambro Lighthouse, which I think I've shown you. If not, I'll show you now. They'd come over and see how far I got every day. That one should have been on YouTube. I really enjoyed that one. That was a good project. Anyway, enough of that. There it is there. I think that's enough. I think that's enough clamps. So we'll just clean all this up. We'll clean up the shop. We're going to call that a night or a day for today. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'm not going to ask for subscribers. I don't think I'll get any. If I do, I do, and if I don't, that's fine. I'm just going to keep doing this because I enjoy it so much. Anyway, everybody have a phenomenal week, and we'll probably post up another. You know what? Let's see my face. We'll probably post up another video next weekend. I'll try to put one out once a week if I can. Facebook, I just throw them on there. I don't even edit them or anything. These ones are a little bit more in depth because there's a little bit of editing to do to make sure I get everything right. I wish I could enunciate better. I don't, unfortunately, so we're just going to have to put up with that. So, until next week, have a great week. See ya.